Imagine a family so powerful, so influential, that its very name has become synonymous with wealth, controversy, and global politics. A family whose members are as ambitious as they are mysterious, constantly navigating a world where the lines between business, politics, and personal ambition blur. They are a dynasty that evokes admiration and disdain in equal measure. A family that has been at the center of some of the most pivotal events in recent history. But what if I told you that behind the gilded facades of skyscrapers, the opulent estates, and the headlines, there lies a labyrinth of secrets. Secrets that have shaped not just their fortunes, but the very fabric of American society. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on the Trump family, diving deep into the untold stories, the hidden alliances, the controversies that you won't hear about on the nightly news. From their rise to power in the gritty streets of New York to their foray into the highest echelons of global politics, this is the story of a family that has mastered the art of reinvention and the price they've paid for it. This is more than just politics or business. It's a story of ambition, betrayal, and the pursuit of power at any cost. The origins of power, Fred Trump, and the rise of the Trump empire. Our journey begins in the early 20th century with a man named Fred Trump, the patriarch of the Trump dynasty. Born in 1905 in the Bronx, New York, Fred Trump wasn't just any businessman. He was a real estate mogul with an uncanny ability to see potential where others saw problems. But what drove Fred was more than just a keen business sense. His rise to power wasn't a straightforward path of hard work and savvy investments. It was filled with controversy, lawsuits, and alleged connections to some of the darkest elements of New York's underworld. Fred Trump started his empire in the midst of the Great Depression, a time when most businesses were failing. But Fred had a secret weapon, his ability to navigate the murky waters of New York's real estate market, using connections, legal loopholes, and sometimes questionable tactics to build a fortune that would lay the foundation for his family's future. From accusations of racial discrimination in his housing projects to claims of profiteering from federal housing contracts, Fred Trump was a man who thrived on the edge of the law, always pushing boundaries but rarely crossing the line, at least not in ways that would land him in jail. But Fred's story is just the beginning, because behind every great empire lies a series of choices, alliances, and betrayals that shape its future. And Fred Trump made plenty of those. Now, let's turn our attention to the man who would take this empire to heights and depths his father could never have imagined. Donald J. Trump. The Apprentice, Donald Trump's early years and rise to fame. Donald Trump, the man who would one day become the 45th President of the United States, was born in 1946 in Queens, New York. But from the very beginning, it was clear that Donald was cut from a different cloth. Whereas Fred was methodical, discreet, and focused on steady growth, Donald was flashy, brash, and obsessed with the idea of becoming a celebrity. His early years were marked by a series of ambitious and often reckless moves designed to put the Trump name in the spotlight. In the 1970s and 1980s, Donald began to carve out his own path in the world of real estate, leveraging his father's connections and money to make deals that were bigger, riskier, and more headline-grabbing. But behind the headlines, there were always questions. Questions about his business practices, his financial dealings, and his alliances with figures from the underbelly of New York's real estate and political circles. From his controversial acquisition of the Commodore Hotel to the tumultuous construction of Trump Tower, Donald's rise was marked by constant legal battles, accusations of shady dealings, and a knack for manipulating the media to his advantage. But perhaps the most intriguing part of Donald Trump's early years is not the deals he made, but the ones that fell apart, and the enemies he made along the way. As Donald's business empire grew, so did his ambitions. But with great ambition comes great risk, and a growing number of people who wanted to see him fail. The dark side of the deal: financial troubles, lawsuits, and bankruptcy. By the late 1980s, Donald Trump was riding high. He was a household name, with a string of high-profile real estate deals, casinos, and a newly minted book, The Art of the Deal, that painted him as a master negotiator. But behind the glitz and glamour, the cracks in Trump's empire were starting to show. The late 80s and early 90s saw a series of financial missteps that nearly brought the Trump organization to its knees. From the over-leveraging of his properties to a string of failed business ventures, like the Trump Shuttle Airline and the infamous Trump Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City, Donald's empire was built on a house of cards. Bankruptcy loomed large, and for a while, it seemed that the Trump name might be consigned to the dustbin of failed American tycoons. Yet, Donald managed to survive. How? Through a combination of aggressive legal tactics, restructuring deals with creditors, and what some might call sheer audacity. But this period also raised many questions. Was Trump really the brilliant businessman he claimed to be? Or was he just another gambler who got lucky at the right time? And what deals did he make behind closed doors to keep his empire afloat? As Donald's financial troubles deepened, he began to explore new avenues for wealth and influence, avenues that would take him beyond the world of real estate and into the realm of politics. The Trump kids, the next generation of power players. Donald Trump is not the only member of the Trump family to wield influence. His children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, Eric, Tiffany, and Barron, have all, in different ways, become players in their own right. But what do we really know about them? Donald Jr., the eldest son, is often seen as the most politically aligned with his father, championing the same causes and rhetoric. But behind the public persona, there are stories of a young man who struggled to find his place in a family dominated by larger-than-life figures. Ivanka, on the other hand, has always been seen as the golden child, the polished, articulate face of the Trump brand. But even she has faced her fair share of controversies, from her business dealings in China to her role in the Trump administration. And then there's Eric, the often overlooked son who has quietly built his own empire within the family business. Tiffany and Barron, the children from Donald's marriages to Marla Maples and Melania Trump, respectively, have largely stayed out of the spotlight. But that doesn't mean they aren't part of the story. In fact, they may be some of the most intriguing players in this family saga. The Trump children have had to navigate a world shaped by their father's outsized persona and the family's relentless pursuit of power. But what happens when family loyalty is tested by ambition, scandal, and betrayal? Melania and the mysteries. The enigmatic First Lady, Melania Trump, the third wife of Donald Trump and the First Lady to be born outside the United States in nearly 2 centuries, is a figure of fascination and speculation. A former model from Slovenia, Melania's rise to prominence is as dramatic as her husband's. But who is Melania really? While much of Melania's story has been told through the lens of her marriage to Donald, there is much more to this enigmatic figure. From her early life in communist Yugoslavia to her controversial modeling career and her role in the White House, Melania's journey is filled with twists and turns that defy easy categorization. But perhaps the biggest mystery is her relationship with Donald, a relationship that has been scrutinized, analyzed, and debated endlessly by the media and the public. While Melania has often been seen as a supporting character in the Trump saga, she may hold more power and influence than many realize. The art of manipulation, media, money, and the making of a brand. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Trump family is their mastery of media. From Donald's early days as a real estate tycoon, courting the New York tabloids, to his reality TV stardom on The Apprentice, the Trumps have always understood the power of narrative. But behind the carefully crafted public personas, there is a darker story, a story of manipulation, media spin, and the use of controversy as a tool for control. The Trump family has always thrived on controversy, understanding that in the modern media landscape, all publicity is good publicity. But this strategy has also come with risks. By constantly courting controversy, the Trumps have attracted enemies from all sides, from political adversaries to former business partners. As we delve deeper into the family's use of media, we'll also uncover the alliances they've built with some of the most powerful and controversial figures in American media. Friends in high places. The Trumps' political connections and influence. The Trump family's rise to power is not just a story of business acumen or media savvy, it's also a story of political connections. Over the years, the Trumps have built alliances with a wide range of figures across the political spectrum, from New York mayors to global leaders. But what do these alliances really mean? From Donald's long-standing friendship with Rudy Giuliani to his complicated relationship with the Clintons, the Trumps have always known how to navigate the world of politics to their advantage. And as Donald's presidential ambitions became a reality, these connections only deepened, raising questions about conflicts of interest, pay-to-play politics, and the true nature of their influence. As we explore the Trump family's political alliances, we'll also examine the controversies and scandals that have surrounded them, and what they reveal about the family's approach to power, secrets and scandals, the controversies that won't go away. No discussion of the Trump family would be complete without diving into the scandals that have plagued them for decades. From allegations of money laundering to accusations of ties with organized crime, the Trumps have been surrounded by controversy at every turn. But are these just the cost of doing business, or is there something deeper going on? We'll explore some of the most explosive allegations against the Trump family, from the shady business deals that funded their empire to the legal battles that have defined their public image. And we'll ask the question, how much of this is real and how much is smoke and mirrors? As we sift through the scandals, we'll also uncover the strategies the Trumps have used to survive and even thrive in the face of constant controversy. The legacy of Trump. What's next for the family? As Donald Trump's presidency came to an end in 2021, many wondered what the future would hold for the Trump family. But one thing is clear, the Trumps are not going away anytime soon. Whether through politics, business, or media, the next chapter of the Trump saga is just beginning. We'll look at the potential futures for each member of the family, from Donald's ongoing political ambitions to Ivanka's possible run for office and beyond. And we'll explore the question that everyone is asking: what will be the ultimate legacy of the Trump family? The power of the patriarchy, the women of the Trump dynasty. When we think of the Trump family, the image that often comes to mind is dominated by powerful men: Fred, Donald Jr., and Eric. But there is another side to the Trump dynasty that deserves attention: the women. Women who have played crucial roles in the rise of this family, from the early days of the Trump empire to its current status as a global powerhouse. But what do we really know about them? Let's start with Mary Ann MacLeod Trump, the matriarch and Fred Trump's wife. Born in Scotland, Mary Ann moved to New York City in 1930 and married Fred, a move that would ultimately set the stage for the rise of the Trump dynasty. While she was often in the background, Mary Ann's role in shaping the family's values and public image cannot be understated. A devout Presbyterian, she instilled in her children a strong sense of discipline and a belief in the American dream. But behind closed doors, Some suggest she may have been the true iron will behind the family's relentless ambition, pushing her husband and children to pursue success at all costs. Then there's Ivana Trump, Donald's first wife, and the mother of Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. A former model and competitive skier from Czechoslovakia, Ivana was not just a glamorous figurehead. She was a key player in the Trump organization, serving as a senior executive and running major projects, including the Trump Tower and the Plaza Hotel. But after their tumultuous divorce in the 1990s, Ivana was pushed out of the business and into the media spotlight, becoming a character in her own right, writing books, making television appearances, and building her own brand. However, her contributions to Donald's success have often been downplayed or overshadowed by the sensational aspects of their split. Next, we have Marla Maples, Donald's second wife, who became a tabloid sensation in the early 1990s. Unlike Ivana, Marla did not have a formal role in the Trump organization, but her marriage to Donald marked a period of intense media scrutiny for the family. She was often portrayed as a disruptive force, but there is more to Marla than meets the eye. A small-town girl from Georgia who broke into the New York social scene, Marla's time in the Trump orbit provides a fascinating look at how the family navigates the intersection of public and private life and how they handle the intense spotlight that follows them everywhere. And finally, we have Lara Trump, the wife of Eric Trump, who has emerged as a vocal advocate for Donald Trump's political ambitions. A former television producer, Lara quickly adapted to her role as a campaign advisor, using her media skills to bolster the family's image during the 2016 and 2020 elections. Known for her tough, no-nonsense style, Lara is seen as a potential political player in her own right, with many speculating that she could run for office in the near future. These women have played essential, though often understated, roles in the Trump narrative. They have managed scandals, run businesses, raised children, and in their way have shaped the public's perception of the family. Yet, their stories often remain overshadowed by the men in the family. As we look deeper into their lives, a more complex picture of the Trump family begins to emerge. One where the balance of power is far more nuanced, and where the influence of these women is felt in every corner of the empire. But as we explore the women behind the scenes, there's another force at play in the Trump family saga, one that transcends borders and has implications far beyond America's shores. International intrigue, the global reach of the Trump empire. While the Trump family is often viewed through the lens of American politics and business, their influence stretches far beyond the United States. From sprawling golf courses in Scotland and luxury hotels in the Middle East to deals in Russia and beyond, the Trump empire is a truly global phenomenon. But with global reach comes global scrutiny, and the Trumps have often found themselves at the center of international controversy. One of the most talked about areas of the Trump family's international dealings is their relationship with Russia. Even before Donald's political career began, the Trump organization was actively pursuing real estate deals in Moscow and other Russian cities. There were discussions about building a Trump Tower Moscow, and Donald himself made several trips to Russia over the years. While these ventures never came to fruition, they have sparked endless speculation about the nature of the Trump family's ties to Russia and whether those ties could have influenced US politics during Donald's presidency. Then there are the Trump family's business interests in the Middle East. Ivanka Trump's brand, for example, secured trademarks in countries like China and Saudi Arabia, while she served as a senior advisor in her father's White House. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's relationship with figures like Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has raised eyebrows, particularly in light of the various deals and partnerships involving Trump-branded properties in these regions. Were these purely business relationships, or were they part of a larger geopolitical strategy? Let's not forget Trump's global brand in places like Scotland and Ireland, where his luxury golf courses have been the subject of local protests, environmental concerns, and even investigations into financial practices. While Donald Trump has always presented himself as a champion of the American worker, his international dealings paint a picture of a man who is just as concerned with his standing on the global stage, using his businesses as instruments of soft power. And what about China? During Donald Trump's presidency, relations between the US and China were often strained, but the Trump Organization has pursued business interests in the country for years. Ivanka's brand was granted numerous trademarks in China, and there were always rumors of potential developments that could link the Trump empire to Chinese billionaires and government officials. Were these moves purely financial, or were there other motives at play? The Trump family's global footprint is vast, but it's also shrouded in mystery. For every deal we know about, there are countless others that remain hidden from public view. This international web of relationships raises critical questions. How did these deals come about? Who are the players behind the scenes? And what are the real implications for US foreign policy? The Trump family's international dealings remind us that their story is not just an American story, but a global one. It's a story of wealth, power, and influence that spans continents, connects cultures, and has the potential to shape the future in ways we are only just beginning to understand. And so we come to the end of our journey. But even after exploring the secrets, scandals, and mysteries of the Trump family, many questions remain. How did this family come to wield so much power? And what will they do with it next? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the story of the Trump family is far from over. And as they continue to shape the world around them, we'll be watching, waiting, and ready to uncover the next chapter of their fascinating saga. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the secrets of the Trump family, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content just like this. Leave a comment below with your thoughts and let us know what secrets you think we should uncover next.